Hello everyone, welcome back to Tekkit tutorial episode number, I think this is, yep, number 9. And we are going to be going over nuclear reactors, and information panels, which tell you stuff about nuclear reactors, and also the best way to set up nuclear reactors if you're a beginner, advanced user, and fun stuff like that. So, I'm going to hand this off now to Major, and I just got kicked again, who is going to explain the information panels, which are these green things alongside the wall right here, once I get back to regular view. So, Major, go ahead.
These are green things are called, well, there's two components in it. There's a, if I can get my thing open, there's an industrial information panel, and there's also a information panel extender. One, you put, let me go behind this wall because it's easier to explain, if Viper will follow me.
I got kicked again. This is gonna be a really good,
If Viper comes behind here, you can see that the silver one is the main, basically, computer, and this is just a screen. You craft the industrial informational panel with 3 glass on the top, 2 lime dye on either side in the middle, electric circle in the middle, 2 ink, and a redstone. And you just place it here. And you also and to make the information panel extender, you put 3 glass on top, wood in a U sort of boat, and then a green lime dye in the middle. And yes, the silver ones have to have a redstone current to them. And then to get them where it shows the reactor information, you have to take a remote sensor kit, right-click on the reactor, and that gives you a card. You put that card in here, if Viper can click on the silver thing.
Yep, you make one of these, you right-click the reactor, and you put it right in there, and it will link up. Make sure you don't get the cards mixed up. We had a problem with that when we were setting this up a few weeks ago.
The bad thing about these is the range is ridiculously small.
Yes,
it's like 16 blocks. But if you take the thing in here, called a range upgrade, it makes it like 8 blocks, I think. Yeah, 8 more blocks that it can be away from the reactor.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much, but it does help a little bit. And we were originally going to have these along right here, but they were out of range, so we had to put
them. And it killed me because I was like going on for hours trying to figure this out.
Yes, I remember that. It was quite interesting.
That was not a joyous time.
That was horrible.
Alright, and basically these, and Doc, can you put a uranium cell in reactor number 3?
Yeah, sure.
And basically when a reactor is on, it'll obviously say on.
You can also change the settings on these things.
Right there. And to turn it, when you give the redstone current to the reactor, it's going to say off, because it's off. And you see right now it is running, says output 20 EU, because he has 2 uranium cells in it, I believe. The temperature is at 0, and it also states the melting point for the reactor. Now, the reason it says that is because, say you just have the reactor chamber and no reactor, or just a reactor core and no reactor chambers around it, the maximum heat is going to be a little bit lower. So that's why they tell you the maximum heat and stuff. And the current temperature is 0 because Doc set that up really awesome. So it
also tells you the remaining time to have to refuel it.
Yes, it also says that, and that is very, very useful.
So you can basically take every ounce of uranium out of that thing.
Yep. So now I'm going to turn this over to Doc, who is going to explain the reactor setups. Alright, come on, Doc. The Pink Panther with no tail. Yep, that's right, you got no tail.
Tailless cat thing. A bob.
Come on. Oh, did you really go AFK? Let's see.
What was the beep?
And he says, can you stop for a second? Alright.
We'll be right back.
Alright, well, now Doc is back, so now he's going to explain the reactor setups for each reactor from a beginner level to an advanced. And these are all with the most amount of your chambers hooked up to a reactor core. So, Doc, go ahead.
Alright, so basically, you want to have your reactor set up so you can take the power out of it, and just simple, you just want to have some glass fiber cables or high volt cables hooked up to a lot of MFFUs if you are going to be having a high EU count. So basically, with our reactor number 4 this is not really an advanced setup, and it's actually not an optimal setup at all. I actually don't like heat dispersers whatsoever because I don't see they do anything to help me at all. So if we just go ahead and fill this up with some uranium, we'll see. Now we look back at our clock. It's at 230 EU per tick, and the heat is slowly rising. So yeah, and basically this is a very simple setup for pretty new players to reactors, because you want to keep it so you don't really have to monitor it, because they are kind of confusing at times. Especially, I know the new update is coming out. They're making them a lot different. So if we move on to our next reactor.
One more thing, guys, real quick. This is only with 11 uranium cells. We're getting 230 EU. So there are ways that you can set up the uranium cells so they are more efficient.
Okay, so with reactor 3 we have here, only using coolant cells, which is going to increase our EU if we have more uranium. So basically this is more advanced just due to the fact that you don't have to monitor it all, because as you can see, it has 0 temperature and 80 EU, although it's lasting for 2 hours and 46 minutes, which is all reactors, no matter how much uranium you put into them. So again, very simple. As you can see, just basically fill it up with coolant cells. And one of the things you want to keep in mind when you are making a reactor is that you want to make sure that no uranium cells are touching, because I'll show you right here. If we make these 2 uranium cells here touching, you can see the output goes up a lot too. But now if we put a decent amount touching each other,
yes, it's going to go up to 130.
It's going to go up a lot.
But since it's going to eat through the coolant cells like crazy, like
it's going to be able to go
temperature. Yeah, the temperature is not rising right now because I do have it set up decently distributing with the coolant cells. So, but if we do add here a lot more, you'll see how hot it can get.
Yeah. The actual heat of the temperature.
It's going to 50, now it's 67. It just goes bloody high.
Alright, take out those cells.
Yeah, we explode this.
We do that once and it blew up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, now since right now it says temperature 0, it's gonna say 0, but it's gonna eat through the coolant cells a lot faster, and when they get eaten through, it's gonna then heat up the reactor itself, and then it's gonna go.
You gotta keep an eye on these things. If you don't, it
doesn't end well.
Not at all.
Alright, so Doc, let's go to your reactor, and then we'll come back to reactor number 1.
Okay, sounds good.
Just tell me when you TP there.
Okay. Alright. Alright, yeah, go ahead. Dad. Alright, so...
Unloaded chunks. Yes, I was here.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Doc's reactor. He has it set up very nice and
neat.
Fancy. with a little on and off switch. You can see right now it says off
So,
because it has
I
a
just want to show
redstone
'em.
input.
This is actually a very advanced reactor, but I've actually had this on about half an hour and it blew up my 4 MFFUs because it creates so much power that they can't handle it. So basically, as you can see my setup, I'm using ice. And although it eats through ice, ice is the best. And uranium cells just get killed when you do this. Like, they're out in literally probably, well, the same amount of time, but they just get eaten through so fast.
Yes,
So now
and if you do use ice, make sure you have it set up to a pump system that refills it automatically very quickly.
yeah. So here I have it on all the time because I forgot to actually turn the switch on, and that wasn't fun.
Yes.
So basically, you want to have your timer set to 0.200 milliseconds. So that way you just get the maximum amount of ice going into it. So you'd want to have some collectors around it, and then you want to have your filter with your buildcraft pipes. And stressing, buildcraft pipes are the only things that will work with a reactor. So you have to plug that right into anywhere you like. Optimal at the top.
You can use red power pipes or pneumatic tubes. You can use the industrial craft ones, but I don't recommend it because then they can overflow and they're not as quick. And
Ice overflows so fast.
Yeah, because it's such a low EMC.
Yeah, and
I think it's
it actually won't be fast enough with the redstone engines because it eats through ice crazy fast.
So should we give a little demonstration without it on?
Yeah,
that might blow it up.
Give us a short, real quick demonstration of
Okay, I'm just going to go. You want to flip the switch and I'll go ahead and turn this off?
Yeah, I'll tell you when to turn it on. Alright, so I'm going to turn this on.
Alright, it's now off. You'll see how fast it eats through.
It eats through decently quick, and you
Trying to blow its reactor up.
That the industrial craft pipes will not do anything like to refill it. You see now it's backed on, so as soon as one gets emptied, it is automatically replaced. So this is probably one of the safest ways to use a reactor because you are guaranteed it will not blow up as long as you don't break the cooling system or someone comes and griefs it.
And one other thing is the setup I have here where the reactor is enclosed is the best way to do it. Basically, you want to do it so inside, inside, not counting the walls, it's a 5 by 4, and it is, I believe, 7 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 high. My bad. So 6 high. That's not including the ground level and the walls. And you actually don't need the side here, so I left it empty. So it's the 4 corners. You don't need them, and that's about it. And then the glass in the front, I just like having because it makes it look nice, and you can also see your reactor. And you want to be able to see it because if it is overheating and you do not have a clock like one of these, because they aren't the cheapest things to make, but neither is the reactor, is you can actually see heat
what's
coming
happening.
off of it, like fire.
Like smoke particles and stuff.
The water evaporating.
Yes, and the water will evaporate. That's one other thing I want to say is this reactor right here is 100% safe. If it does explode, there's nothing that's going to happen because
it wouldn't even explode because the server doesn't have it.
Evaporating, these top blocks, they're a source block, so it only evaporates 3 away from the core, and the core is right below this top chamber. So 1, 2, 3. It's only going to evaporate this one right here, and then this top source block keeps draining down water, so it will never explode and have a meltdown. You will occasionally have some source blocks of lava, but otherwise, I mean, it's not going to blow your base up. So I would trust this in my factory, but it just doesn't. It's too big.
Alright, and yeah, one more thing. You can see that his heat is constantly changing. You guys
That's
might be
fluctuation
scared
because the ice is not solidly a stack or so.
For the reactor to actually do any damage, it has to reach 13,600 feet. Heat, we're like hitting a max of about 500. So no worries about this. You don't really need to worry about that too much. As long as you keep feeding ice in, it will not explode.
It won't even melt until it's 13,000 heat.
basically, you want to keep your temperature under 3,000 if you want to leave it alone by itself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could go.
Watch like a hawk.
We had a reactor hit 21,000 before it actually went poof. So.
But that was quickly throw everything out of it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was
so,
panic mode.
shall we go to reactor number 1?
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
That time was like 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, I live right near 3 Mile Island.
I don't know why you did that.
Speaking of which, I live literally 2 miles from a nuclear power plant in real life. It's pretty cool.
That's
Really?
scary.
Not really.
I'm not doing that.
Alright, so why don't we, can someone go ahead and turn reactor 1 off so I can show you how you want to configure it?
Yeah, hold on.
Just get my schematics out.
Let's, how am I gonna do this?
Can someone give me, let's see, 6 pieces of ice?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna check it from. Do we have any more with ice? Yeah. 1, 2,
Where's
3,
the
4,
lever?
5.
There it
I
is.
summon them.
Here, Doc. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
You can see now that it is off.
Oh, crud.
Ah, you crashed.
I've been crashing like, oh, let's do this thing.
Alright,
You just had to give me those 2 ice blocks, didn't you?
Oh, I thought you were Doc.
Alright, so, go ahead and talk about this reactor.
The
okay.
beast.
Well, let me just get rid of these. Yeah, this is the beast. Shall we show them where we store all this power?
Alright, I'll go show them. Basically, this
Show them
reactor
the
will
new
charge-
ones that I just charged almost completely up within one entire round of refuel.
yeah, we can charge up this entire power station within about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of reactor 1 running. I think these, oh wait.
How many MSUs is
No,
this,
no.
by the way?
I think it'll take maybe 1 full to get these charged
It'll
up.
take,
I know.
yeah,
we
just
can
these
get-
alone, yes, because the other ones were out.
Yeah.
How many MSFUs are there?
Over 100. And that is going to my power distribution links, and then they're going to go to factories when people start buying subscriptions to my power company.
You want a pork chop? I'm about to die.
I have some canned food.
That will
Yeah,
work.
you can have some of the flesh.
Alright, so let's go ahead and configure a reactor. Come on. So now, the configuring of a reactor that's going to output a lot of EU is the most important part of it. Besides the storage, which, yeah. Alright, so is it off?
Yes, it is.
Yes, still.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it requires 26 uranium cells to completely fill
Which
it.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is why it's advanced, because not every noob has this many. Alright, I'm actually gonna need some more.
And the reactor isn't
Okay.
running right now, so it can't blow up.
Yeah, as long as you give it some power, it turns right off.
I have 2 more. Nothing else. Oh, I found your quantum armor.
Tekkit hide his tail. Oh, wait, he's wearing his pants. Do we have any cells?
Yeah, go ahead and fill
Yeah.
that up.
I'm putting some in.
Alright, guys. Alright.
Alright, so this is probably one of the one of the most powerful setups you can possibly have. It's also probably one of the more dangerous ones. I mean,
If not, looked at.
your reactor's still not going to explode because it has the coolant. If you have a something that's producing ice incredibly quickly,
Pick that up, maybe.
then
Goes up and down.
you shouldn't have to worry about it too fast. And because it's sucking up so much ice, I have it set so it pulls out a stack of ice every fifth of a second. So that's
Alright, so yeah, that's fast.
alright. So now he's gonna take out. It's easier just to fill up the entire reactor
Yeah,
and
'cause
take out the
it's more
blocks that
uranium.
it's
Okay,
supposed to have.
now
Shit.
configuring it. What you want to do is you're only going to need 6 pieces of ice for your first round, because then if you do have a pump, which I highly recommend having because they're very useful, because you can just leave this all night, which we always do. So what you do is you just stick your ice, and first you start out by putting your ice in 4 corners of the reactor, and then these 2 you're gonna go from the second row, or third row, my bad, and you just go in 3 spots. Put your first piece of ice, and then you go down 1, over 1. Ice here. I actually need 1 more. Oh, my bad. It's actually here. Sorry. It's on the 5th one for this row. I need 1 more piece of ice.
And it also goes right there.
Here.
Yes, and that's
Take it
where that
from
one
reactor
goes.
number 3.
Actually, Major, you can go ahead and turn on the ice pumping machine, and it'll just pump ice into that one spot.
Okay,
Yeah,
give this to Doc.
Yeah.
But you don't actually need to put 1 piece of ice in. You can just take them out and then turn
Just
on the
for
pump.
demonstration. Yeah.
All right,
All
so
right, now go ahead and
Make
turn
sure
on
that
the
thing's
pump.
off, by the way, when you turn it off, because we did that and we just filled the entire reactor with ice.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a pain. You can see it's already filled.
And one flaw of this pump and system, if you do leave it, is when all of them run out, they become near depleted uranium cells, and then they just disappear, and then the entire thing gets filled with ice, and you have to do it all over, and that's just not fun.
Yeah, it is not fun, but trust me, it is
It's worth it.
incredibly powerful, and you only need to run this reactor maybe once every
Couple
Once in a while.
days.
once every week or so, depending how much you use the power. So you
Yes.
can go ahead and turn that on, Doc.
Can we remove these first, just so we get cool down from the water?
Yep.
Just go ahead and break them. And then that'll take the lever off.
Don't take a bucket to this, by the way, like Doc did, and just ruin the entire cooling.
Yeah, you can see that it is now on, and it's outputting at a whopping 1,930 EU. That is quite a lot of power, considering it's going to be
And
running
that's per
for...
tick, and a tick is less than a second.
Yes, a tick. I forget how much a tick is, but
I believe it's 1/10.
1/10 of a second. So it is a tremendous amount of power, and it's going to run for almost 3 hours. So this should power or fill up anything you possibly need. You can see it's eating up ice, and this thingy is filling it in as it gets taken out. So let's go back over to the MFSUs and show you how quickly they're being...
And realize this is powering over, what, 300 MFSUs, so you're not going to see it spiking an extreme amount, but it goes pretty fast.
Yes.
And the power is also being used for other things.
Just to show you how much power this reactor really does have, I'm going to hook up all the power to 1 MFSU.
That might blow it up.
It probably will blow it up.
Yeah, it's going to go boom.
But
Is that what happened at your place, Doc? You just put it all in the...
Yeah, it filled up 4 MFSUs before I could even go out the door to check them.
yes, and I think I crashed again for the last time.
Hopefully.
Oh, it's not gonna be the last time. I'm gonna crash 10 more times before this video ends.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get some glass fiber cable. I'm going to go back up in here. I also recommend that you have the cables coming out of the bottom of the reactors, so I'm going to hook this up, and yeah, see, it just blew up the MFSU. MFSUs can blow up, and it just took out
Viper, why don't you go ahead and put a high voltage transformer on it, or a medium voltage, and then we can actually see it.
Hold on, I'm going to show them. It'll literally just...
What the heck are you guys?
Now, since it's not blowing this one up, is because it's going to all these MFSUs.
Yeah.
But if you just put all that power into 1 MFSU, it's just going to go.
But this is still powering over 300,
power.
and it's still, look how fast it is going.
Yeah.
So much power goes through it, it just blows it up.
Yep. It is just way too much power. But you shouldn't need this much power unless you're powering an entire server.
Yeah, which...
You actually probably could.
Yeah, but, you know, Viper's just, wants to be a show-off.
He's a greedy. He's greedy.
Yeah, you can see it'll never go above a little bit. It'll never go
above 500. It will never go above 500.
No, it goes above 500. Occasionally we get the 700 spike.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that is really rare.
Yeah. That's when we have a little lag and the ice doesn't come out in time, but,
Yeah. But
otherwise, no more than 1,000.
This is a
100%
we've been going for about 20 minutes now, I think. So, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'm going to have the channel links to both of these guys' YouTube channels in the description. Please comment what you'd like to see in future videos. Rate, comment, and subscribe. See you later.
See ya.